All right, welcome to my 3 steps to fat loss built to last. So this is how I get my clients to average to lose about 5 to 10 kgs in about 3 months. That's about 4, but on average it's about 3 months. Now, this is going to be an overview of how the whole framework is going to go. And I will have a section where I'll explain in detail on how the whole phase is going to work. Okay, so we're going to start you off first with step 1, the metabolic restoration phase. So this is where I get you to prime your, once we start to work together, is that I want to make sure that you are back to your baseline calories. So this is where we're going to make sure that you are, we're going to make sure that we know what is your point zero. If we're going to get you in a calorie deficit, we need to know how much calories we need to be reduced. But how much, let's say we need to get you to reduce about 500 calories first, but 500 calories from what? So we need to find out first what is your maintenance level. And also, say for example, for this is especially great for someone who has been under eating for so long, where like your body has just been metabolically adapted being at that low calorie. So more in the next section. Okay, so this is also where we will build 3 different habits that will help you prime your metabolism for the fat loss surge phase, or the fat loss sprint phase. So this is where that we get you to making sure that you have like your eating habits in right, getting your steps, or the making sure, what do you call this, to the gym. So this kind of habits is what is going to make sure that you are going to be absolutely prime for your fat loss phase, and then making sure that you get the best result possible. And yeah, and this is also where we start to get your strength training in order, get you used to the training programs and so on. So this is going to be duration where anywhere between 2 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes even up to 3 months or more. So on my best case scenario, like one of my clients, Z, actually started out severely under eating, so instead of just going straight to a fat loss phase, we went through a long as 5 months, or I think close to 6 months of reverse dieting, or what we call in this phase, we're just priming her metabolism. So it really depends on the individual. So I need to know first that we need to, when we start to work together, I need to understand your eating habit, and then can decide how we're going to approach this. So step 2 is where we do the fat loss sprint phase. So this is where we're going to begin the calorie deficit phase. So the calorie deficit phase can go anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks, sometimes a bit more. It really depends. So usually you want to see like some noticeable changes. You want to make sure that you go in about 6 weeks or more. Anything lower than that tends to stick too long, or it doesn't really additional benefit, because we can go through a plateau for about 3 weeks, up to 3 weeks, sometimes even more, and then you suddenly start seeing the weight drops slowly. So it will take some time, but usually the best minimum amount of time that I've seen to see some noticeable results, it has to be about 6 weeks. Then you can go up to anywhere to 12 weeks, because 12 weeks, by the 12th week, your body will start being like so fatigued, and you just want to get you out of that dieting. And then also, because the metabolic adaptation is going to be very strong at this point as well. Okay, and then next is we're going to increase the training. It's either going to be maintaining or increase your strength training sessions by 1 to 2 times a week. So if you started out in the metabolic restoration phase, you twice a week. So maybe then in this scenario, we're going to increase to 3 times a week, 4 times a week, sometimes, depending on how used to are you to the training program itself. But if you feel your schedule doesn't allow it and only 2 times works best for you, then we just maintain. So that all 3 times you started up, that 3 times works for you, then we just maintain. So something that is going to be sustainable is going to be key here. So next one, we're going to increase your activity level. So on top of whatever you're already doing, so we're going to increase your step count. So let's say you were on average, we're getting about 4,000 steps a day. That's why we're going to start to increase your steps by one additional 2,000, 3,000, see what can be sustainable. And then we can add like different kind of cardio sessions as well. And then on top of the 3 habits that we established before, then we're going to build additional habits that we can stack on top of another. Can be a combination of making sure that you're hitting your protein, making sure that you're getting your steps in. So those kind of. So in this phase as well, so what you can expect in this phase is you're going to see some visible changes. You're going to start seeing like in your scale, if your weight starts to drop, or if the weight hasn't started to drop yet, you start seeing like your body measurements start to drop, especially around the waistline, especially around your face, around your chest, your back, all that. So, and then you start feel like a bigger difference that you see when you look in the mirror. Okay, so you just need that's why we don't just rely on different kind of measurements as well. There's other forms of measurement as well, but this will be the primary thing that we focus on as well. So at this point, you should be feeling like you're strong, and then your energy levels should be higher because the deficit would not be too high yet at this point in time, especially in the beginning, like the first 6 weeks. If it is you're constantly feeling too hungry, then it's not going to be, and then it's going to be too much for you, then we're going to increase your calories instead. There is a time and place for you to, you will feel hungry, but it's just, if you're constantly thinking about food, then it's going to be a very challenging 6 to 12 weeks for you. I do have like a mini cut phase where in 6 weeks we're a bit more aggressive, but that's a different topic for another day. But this is more, we're talking about more like sustainable long-term, 3 months, 4 months kind of thing. And so your 12 weeks might end up becoming a bit longer because 6 weeks or up to 12 weeks might end up being a bit longer. Diet breaks will be added as and when needed. So this is where we get you to, back into maintenance phase for anywhere between 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, sometimes 1 week, just to reduce that diet fatigue again. So in case that you are constantly feeling hungry and so on, and your energy level starts to drop, it starts to affect your daily life, or you need to go on holiday, stuff like that. So as and when needed, it can be up. So then we have the final third phase, the lifestyle integration phase. Okay, so this is where we manage to see the fruits of our labor. So you manage to lose, the weight starts to drop, the measurements really drop. You can really start feeling the changes in your clothes as well. You start feeling great. You will feel probably a lot of hungry at this point, but this is where we get you out of the diet. Let's say you at this point you would have lost anywhere between 5 to 10 kg usually, depending on your goal that we have set together. So at this point in time, there's two options for you to do. Whether we go into a reverse dieting phase where we slowly increase your calories week by week, or we go through a recovery diet where you immediately get into the eat at a new expected maintenance calories. So it really depends on you as an individual. I have clients who are okay with reverse dieting. I have clients who are okay with a recovery dieting, as in like going back straight to maintenance. Because they can't take being in a deficit too long. So it really depends on you as an individual. So how are we going to make sure that your fat loss is sustained? It's going to be all the habits that you establish in phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, so at this point in time, it is going to be like a shift in identity already. You have all the habits have turned you into a new person. You have to think about, okay, this person who is now, let's say you have, if you imagine yourself as a person who has lost about 10 kg or 15 kg, let's say that's your target, or maybe even 5 to 7 kg, depending on currently, before you started this journey, that kind of identity, that kind of habits got you into that position in the first place, where you got fatter, your energy is a lot lower, you feel sluggish, you're weak, you're not confident. Imagine the person who have achieved that result at this point in time, and then that is going to be your new identity. I'm not saying you turn into a different person, as in like you completely 180 and become like a complete asshole or something like that. No, you want to make sure that the new habits that established in this past phase is going to be part of your new identity now. Meaning that last time, if your meal was every day from delivery, from delivery apps or eating, now during this phase, you have learned how to eat more whole foods, like try more home cooked, try to eat more meal prep, or when you're eating out, you're more mindful. You know what to eat. You are focusing more on protein. Now you're going to focus. At this point, you want to focus. You know that you need to get your steps in. How much roughly? You know that you're sustaining going to the gym, like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Those kind of things. Whereas before this, you would barely work out as well. You barely get your steps in. So those kind of things is like we're talking about like a shift in new identity. The more I can get more detail of that, but this is just going to be the overview of it, because you need to have a shift in your mindset as well. So at this point, you want to start enjoying your result as well. So you have 2 options. Either you maintain the newfound gain, the new result that you got, or you can choose focus on building muscle, reducing diet fatigue, and then you want to just recover first for the next fat loss phase. If you choose, you want to go through another fat loss phase lah. If not, you just sustain whatever you're doing and enjoy. That is it. That is your 3 steps to fat loss and build to last overview. Step 1, metabolic restoration phase. So like I said, prime your metabolism, establish your habits, begin strength training. Step 2, we do a fat loss sprint. Step 3, we do a lifestyle integration phase. Okay, and then this is the phase that you are going to be applying for yourself if you are going to retain your result. If you don't retain, if you just do this immediately without doing this and this, you are going to suffer, and you're most likely and just repeat year after year. Follow this step by step, then you'll be golden.